Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back. We are at it again with another riding video. This time it is the 1980 Suzuki TS185 that I picked up this past fall. It was pretty shabby when I got it. If you've followed along on any of the videos, you see how crusty it was when I got it. It was sitting outside for the last 25 plus years behind a shed. So as you can imagine, there was some pretty decent rust on the shocks, and some of it on the wheels. Not as bad. I was able to scrape all that off, but the top end needed redone, needed a new piston and rings, and I honed out that cylinder. And if you remember, when I opened that up, there was chunks taken out of the piston, and the head was all banged up. So it looks like it ate a ring, and the ring was tossed around in there a little bit, and eventually probably shut out the exhaust because I couldn't find any remnants of it. I only found half of one of the rings. So I ended up getting a new head on eBay. Not new, but a decent used one that wasn't all banged up. Got the new piston, rings, wrist pin, bearing, all the normal stuff, and I honed out the cylinder too. And unbelievably, the cylinder wasn't in bad shape. We also patched up the fuel tank, which I have this thing filled up right now, and I'm not leaking any fuel, which is crazy. Because if you go back and look at some of the videos, there's some massive holes behind the seat here. When this folds up, there was some big rust holes here, on the other side too. And I used some of the patch, that JB Weld tank patch along here. This blob was pre-fixed before I got it. Somebody had tried either brazing or welding or something on there before, but there was some leaking going on behind that, and the tank patch from JB Weld did a good job of sealing all that up underneath here. And I used the Ford Blue automotive paint. It was like an engine enamel to match this up. I mean, it's pretty close. It's not perfect, obviously, but when you're looking at it 20 feet away, you really can't tell. So ended up having to go through the carburetor quite a bit, more than a couple times. I had that off of there probably 7 or 8 times, and I've got it down to a science now. If I got to take it off, I know exactly what I got to remove. Obviously the side cover to get I got to get the whole air box out of the way, and I have to remove the oil tank, which is behind here, to get the air box out, and that lets me pull this boot off, and then the carb just slides out nice and easy. So I've had that out a bunch of times to fiddle with the air screw, which is in the worst spot possible. Really can't see, but it's like up underneath there. So I had to screw that out to like 5 clicks out. Usually it's like 1.5 out from close for that air screw, but for some reason on this bike it was running extremely lean when it was into 1.5. Maybe I'm thinking backwards here, but I always thought that when you'd screw in the air screw, it would richen it up, giving it less air, but apparently not. I got to screw this one out, and that richens it. So it had to go out like a full 5 clicks for it to idle correctly, and couldn't get the revs to drop down until I did that. So once I backed that out to 5, that seemed to do the trick. Luckily I didn't have to do crank seal, surprisingly. I was kind of dreading if I did, because I know I have to split the case on this one, and I have the tool to do it, but I was just hoping to see if I could get away with it, get lucky with it, which I think I did, because once it's warmed up, it doesn't want to smoke bad at all. I mean, it's just regular 2-stroke smoke that comes out. The brakes were all frozen up. Got new brake shoes on the back and the front, but the lever was all banged up. Straightened that out a little bit, and this was frozen right here, so I took that all out, greased everything up. The hub was all frozen. This all works nice now. Same with the front. The fronts were the shoes were falling, well, they weren't really falling apart, but they were a little rusty on the inside, so I just replaced them while I had it apart. And got a new front brake cable and a couple other little things. But yeah, I still got to hook up the lights and everything. I got to look at the speedo. This isn't working. I do have a cable hooked up to it. That's a new cable as well, but something isn't spinning in here to turn the gears. And I don't have a battery on it yet, so I'm going to try to avoid using the lights. Don't want to blow any of the bulbs out. So yeah, another nice day to ride. Figured I'd get it out before we get more rain this week. We had a bunch of rain last week, so some of the creeks should be interesting. But just getting over to this point, it's working pretty well. So enough jabbering. I'm going to get on the bike and let it do the talking. Alright, so like my other videos, I'm just going to take it easy at first. Just ride up and down some of the easier trails, make sure everything holds together. And if it does, then we'll head over to the creek area where we got a little bit more technical stuff, especially for these older bikes. Makes it interesting over there with some of the little hills and other obstacles that are that way. But we'll take it easy first. And I'm going to see if she'll start up easy for me. On, gas on. One kick. Once she's warmed up, she runs real good. I'm gonna turn it around and head down this trail behind me. This thing's geared a little bit taller for the road. It still feels pretty good back here though. Not quite as tall as the as that MC250 that I just took back here last week. Got a fair amount of low end to it too, what I can tell so far. Yeah, it feels a lot like the 72 TS185 that I got. It's really lively, likes to rev. And I can tell the front end comes up pretty easy. Breaking in that top end. Slowly had it around the yard and up and down the road a couple times, and just getting back to this point. I've been taking it easy, but she should be broken in by now. Quick work of that hill. Got another one here. Didn't even have to clutch it at all. I was just first gear. This thing feels super nimble. tire. It's just got the Gold Sport 50/50 on the front. I got good knobs on the back. It's fairly dry down here today. Take it easy in the turns. Rough right now. We had a bunch of rain last week, heavy downpours that just rearranged everything. Yeah, it's like to just crawl around at first. Feels really good. Clutch is slipping. I'm going to take a break up here and let this cool off. Yeah, clutch is going out. Before I burn it up completely, I'm just going to come up here, give it a once over. Picked up something. Maybe it's not slipping, it just, oh, that's, I got a flat. Yeah, that's not good. Something either came out of the tire there, or I picked up something. But I do have a flat at the same time. I don't know what this is. Some junk on the trail getting caught up in there. Alright, well, oh yeah, that's flat. That's probably what I was feeling there. I wonder if it's spinning. Oh yeah. Well, that's gonna get cut short. Spun the tire on the rim. I don't even see a rim lock on this one. Huh. Yeah, I spun the tire on the rim and ripped that tube right out of there. Well, it's always an adventure. Might be able to ride this back on the road up here. We're gonna see. That's what was happening. It was just spinning on the rim when I was revving it and thinking the clutch was slipping. That sucks. All right. get this thing back without it spinning off the wheel, off the rim. That might be a little tricky. Alright. See, how am I going to get around this here? I'm going to have to get off the push. This thing's running great right now too. I got a little bonus footage here for you guys. I got my 72 TS185 out. Just as I pulled the 80 in, I figured, what the heck, I'll bring this out, do a back-to-back comparison real quick. Brakes are pretty bad on this bike. It's a huge adjustment jumping on this. This thing is quite snappy. Mindful of these brakes. It is downright scary going down hills on this bike. I have to address that. They are new brake shoes. I don't know if I just got glazing on the hubs. I mean, this thing is snappy. Definitely lighter than the 1980. I think part of what makes it feel so small is it's got that 19-inch front wheel versus the 21 that's on the 1980 model. And I do feel this on the bumps more because of that, I think. It's not massive. It's not a massive difference. Happy bike. Oh yeah, this thing's got such good response. I think partly because it's so light, the gearing's just right. Definitely geared lower than the 1980 model. I think they were still trying to figure everything out with the dual sport bikes this early on. If you figure back then, they were still getting, getting these dual sport bikes figured out because they were brand new at the time. And this one's more dirt oriented. Definitely more dirt oriented. I'd like to see what the 1980 is like with it geared down just a little bit. Probably wake that thing up even more. Now I can tell this thing is It's probably more nimble than the 1980 model just because it's so light, flickable. And it's not that the 1980 isn't nimble. This one just, this one probably weighs quite a bit less. See how she does with this hill. The 1980 model has an advantage, is the power. They got that engine fine-tuned by 1980. Now the porting on the cylinder, you know, this one's snappy, but it just doesn't have the low end. It's not bad. I'm not saying it's got bad low end power by any means, but the other one you can kind of chug along a little easier. Whereas this one, you got to be in mid-range for those hills. You can see I almost stalled at the top when I went into second gear. Just didn't have the low end. Just something to be mindful. It'll make those hills in first gear all day. Brakes definitely need some help. They're getting better. Kind of did the same thing on my original riding video with this bike. I think they just needed some heat in them, but they started working better. I figure I'd give you guys a little bit extra bonus footage with another 185 since the other one is kind of out of commission at the moment. Just to do a quick back-to-back comparison on the same day ride. And yeah, I can tell the power delivery in the 1980 model definitely has its advantages over this one, just because I was saying this one doesn't even have power valves in it, and I'm sure the porting's all different in that cylinder. It's got good snappy power, it just doesn't have the low end that the 1980 model has. And this one weighs a lot less, though, I can tell. It's easier to throw around. It does have the smaller front wheel on it, whereas the 1980 model has the 21-inch. But I didn't really notice it too much here. I'm sure on like the bigger bumps I would notice it, but just coming over to this area was a little choppy stuff. I don't even really notice it all that much, but I still like this bike a lot. If I had to keep one of the two, I would probably keep this one, just because it's a lot different than a lot of the other bikes I have, being so small, snappy, and just the looks of it. I like the color scheme and the lines and stuff on it. But you know, the 1980 model is growing on me too, but I can't keep them all. So one of them's going to go up for sale at some point. I'll probably have to ride them both a little bit more to see which one I'm going to keep for a little while longer at least. But thanks for watching again, guys. I'm going to jump back over to the 1980 model here with the magic of video editing. So thanks again. Here we go. Alright guys, unfortunately I'm going to have to cut this one short. I'm just going to putt home, head up the trail here to the top of this parking lot where this field is. There's actually a soccer game going on up there right now, so it should be interesting when I pop up there and get all kind of dirty looks from all the soccer moms, I'm sure, putting through here on this noisy two-stroke. But yeah, I'm going to get home, see if I got a tube, and it's probably gonna have to be, I'll have to wait till the next video to see the rest of it when I take it over to the creeks and stuff. Suspension felt really well. Like the back is still working pretty well. It's got dampening, no bouncy pogo feeling at all. Fronts can use a little help, obviously, those old forks, and I could probably use a dirt tire front, but overall it felt really good coming over here. Felt really nimble like the 72 185 that I got, but I could tell this one's got a really good low end, a lot more low end than that other 185, both of which have new top ends, honed cylinder, all standard size pistons and stuff, so they're on equal ground there, I think, to compare. This one I think has the power valves and stuff on this engine versus the 72, so that helps. And you know, it's 8 years newer, so you know they were able to upgrade some things in that amount of time. But it felt really good. So yeah, stay tuned for the next video. I'm going to do a little bit more technical stuff with it because I know it's capable. It felt really good coming over here. But I'll leave you with that. If you guys aren't a subscriber, make sure you hit the subscribe button with the bell notification icon to get alerted when I do put the next video out on this. So stay tuned for that. And thanks again, guys, for watching. We'll see you in the next one.